Hey guys, I'm here to talk about the latest episode of Supernatural fanfiction. It was the 200th episode of Supernatural, so we knew it was gonna be big. Can we just talk about all of the things that they referenced? Just all of the things. I will say that my favorite part was that they brought back the Samulet. That was great. I remember when I was marathoning the show back in 2012, and we got to that episode where Dean throws away the Samulet, and I was just like, how? And for some reason I was like, okay, well maybe Sam will pick it up and have it in the back of the trunk or something, and they'll have it. They'll always have the Samulet, and it's never gonna go away because it really symbolizes the brothers' relationship. And I know Dean says in this episode that he doesn't need a necklace or that amulet to show how much he loves his brother, but for the fandom, we know that that necklace really, to us at least, it represents their brotherly love, and it was just really nice to see it back in his hands and in the car. Seriously though, all of the references were perfect. Just imagine everything that they saw going through the Tumblr posts. Oh my goodness. Their faces though, when they saw all of the props and the girl singing about Sam and Dean, and then Azazel showing up on the corner, and then they made that thing of their mom on the ceiling. That was bad, but that was funny. And then especially at the end when they're singing their own a cappella version of Carry On Wayward Son and Adam shows up, Sam and Dean are just like, who's that? And the girl's like, oh, that's Adam. That's John Winchester's other kid. He's stuck in hell with Lucifer. Jacob Bell, the actor who played Adam, he even tweeted something supernatural like last night for the show, for his reappearance on the show. That was great. Okay, talking about reappearances, Chuck.
Where have you been?
Now, what does this even mean? We haven't seen Chuck since the end of season 5 when he was writing out that thing on the Impala. Where has he been since then? Okay, I have a theory for this season of Supernatural that I've thought of ever since I knew that Supernatural was going to carry on until 2014. Okay, so you guys all remember in season 5, Lucifer, Apocalypse, Crotone, all that, right? That's when Cass was human, Lucifer had taken over Sam's body, Dean was just like really detached from everything. So in this season, Cass doesn't have his own grace. He has somebody else's grace, which is going to die out eventually. Dean has the mark of Cain. He's a little bit detached because he still is recovering from being a demon. So now we're in season 10. It's 2014. Lucifer said that no matter what they did, no matter what changes they made in their own history, they were always going to end up there. So what if it does?
We will always end up here.
And now Chuck is alive. So now we have Chuck to hoard all of the toilet paper. So Dean isn't a demon anymore, right? But he still has the mark of Cain on him. So what if somehow the only way to get that mark off of him is to raise Lucifer back up again? Can you imagine how much chaos the writers would bring to the fandom if that happened? Okay, perhaps the biggest thing that the entire fandom was freaking out over was the mentions of the Destiel. I am not a shipper like that. I don't ship Cass and Dean at all, really. I know there are some hardcore shippers out there. I've been on Tumblr. So yeah, I'm not even a shipper, but just the fact that they know that that exists and that they put it in the show was great, because Dean's reaction to that was hilarious. And I love how Sam wasn't even fazed by any of it. He was like, shouldn't it be Destiel? What about Cass Dean? Oh, and I loved all the little things that the writers put in it. Like the room that they were staying in was room 200. For the 200th episode, and if you guys noticed back for the 100th episode, the room for that was also 100. I love it. I love all the details. And I loved how they referenced the first episode with Sam and Dean at the end of the episode after Sam sees that Jess has died, and he closes the trunk after throwing the gun inside, saying that we have work to do. And then they did it again during this episode.
We got work to do.
Such perfection. Such perfection. And then at the end when the girl is like, oh yeah, thanks for saving my friends to Sam, and she's like, you know, if you were to cut your hair a little bit, you'd be a really good Dean. Really? He's just like, thanks. The writer said that this episode was going to be for the fans, and it really was. It was so good. Supernatural is seriously my favorite show of all time, so this episode was really nice to see how much that they care for the fans. Oh my god, the part where Dean sees the girlfriends with each other playing Cass and Dean, and he looks at the camera like he's in an episode of The Office. Oh my god. That was so perfect. I couldn't, and apparently that wasn't even scripted because Jensen had tweeted something about how when he looked in the camera that wasn't scripted. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to watch the rest of the season and see where they go with Dean having the mark of Cain and Cass being on Earth and Hannah and Crowley and just everything. Oh my goodness, Sam. And I also really liked the part where they were all singing the Carry On Wayward Son and they zoom into Dean and Sam's face. It really looked like it was Jared and Jensen. You could really see how much the show means to them in that part. You could just tell that they were looking out to all of the episodes that they've ever done and everything that they've accomplished in the past 10 years. And it was just really cool to see.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to
Well, yeah, those were all my thoughts and ramblings and feelings on the 200th episode of Supernatural. Tell me what your guys' favorite part was. I'm gonna have to say my favorite part was probably the very last scene where Dean and Sam are in the car and then Dean puts the Samulet that Marie had given him onto the car. I really want to do a video for the rest of the Supernatural episodes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!